100 meters go tloga mo re leng gona mara ga e re gole ka selo ga ba tle ka mo ga ba dire selo total ge go tla nako ya go lema ka bo o ka September ba sepela ba re ba ile go ngwala di-exams ba bua ka February ge ba tlisha fetša tlala or ba tla ka tlisha tlala ke nako ba tlang ene lena ba lemi ba sekhukhune ke boditše presidente ka sello sela sa lena sa moga sekhukhune Loskop South goba area e ka moka Loskop South ka moka ga yona a ke re go na le north le south go swantse go no ba land audit re ka se ra kgona go tswela pele gore banna ba le batho ba no re gatelela ka naga e re senang gore ga se naga ya bona jwale ba re tshepišitše go tlo ba le land audit rena re ba baleng re tswele pele tle re kgone go lema plasa tše kgolo tše ba bangwe ba di swere ka lease ba bangwe ba di swere ka caretaker ba bangwe ba expanda diplasa tše be ba di segetše pele and ba re gongwe re se ke ra bolela re ka se ke ra kgona sephiri se a bolaya jwale ka mogo ke thabileng ka gona ge re le kua olong mo beng go le briefing le ge re ya kwa pack house le ge re sepela mo ba ntšeetše speech a ke re ke boletše ka kudu la tseba ke rata go bolela nna ke rata go humola nne ke rata go bolela mara nto ke e bolelang o ka no twa e lebelela o tlo no khwetša e le nto be ke swanetše go e bolela ka gobane ka se boleng ke se ka swanela go e bolela jwale speech se mosebediši wa modiro ke tlile go se šia mo gore se hwetše attention ya presidente and gore se tla fitlha jwang go yena go tseba lena nna ke tsebe a se sona ke lebogile lentšu la mafelelo re tle gore viva TFA International, viva TFA International, viva aha
re a leboga ntate Sefuluša at least alarm farm mmereko wo re ke ba le speech sa lena le rile fela ke se fihlise go president so eo a itshweng ke tla ba fa sona ba tla re ba dutse ofising ba tlo khumana nako ba se bala mara nto re kgatlileng ka nto le le bolela le ele re ditshumelo tše dingwe a di le fitlheleng ala dula ka mahedi le emeletše la re le tla tirela farmer to farmer extension services and go minister di diza ba le kwile gore ba tla make sure extension services e tlo fitlha go lena le re metsi a shorta a so fitlhe go lena le irile plan gore tla ba le rekisa a le a mangwe la chlorinator cause lena le di-farmers that's why le re Tafelkop Farmers Association ke international ya kare so le a tseba so morally, indeed, a new dawn has arisen, and indeed, the land is yours, and the land you are using productively. But I will let the president or nyaka liye bjang ko pele. Ka nako e ke tla kgopela premier wa rena ntate Tshupu Mathabate ba tlo re ema ka lefoko ba re ke mahlatse a hlabirwa a molea
jalo gona o graduate lo ga di ka nnete a ska phošo hlapoga di a phahla a o file sereto Thank you, Program Director. His Excellency, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, esteemed Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers present here, Executive Mayor of Sekhukhune District Municipality, Paola Maruni, Your Worship Mayor of Elias Mtswali Local Municipality, Councillor Julia Matel, Queen Mother Wabapedi Baras Sekhukhune, Maro Khoshi, Sapuradia Pasa, traditional leaders present here, Kamakara Lena, Kitoma Gayana, Tawia Sefasan Miti, Pase Koshira Mubudu, Kubwane Bakoshima Sanguba or Namukuni Koshima Tala Lena or Ona. Otsema Washi President Hoka Togalaute. With the level for long half home. Take a level like I'm hook a level or a cover Kamango Komotoechi. You are like a bono rawa. Okamotoechi Lenaranto Nikuaka Kemasakwa Muatu Hoshi Radi Matere Wabakwena Bantuani Apushmatere. Raleta misha mawoshiaka madula patingamsha. Friends from the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased to welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, and his high-level delegation to our beautiful province of Limpopo. I know very well, President, that you don't really need any welcome, though you deserve it, to this province, because you are the son of the soil. You belong to this province. You belong to the ancestry of this province. However, President, due to the fact that you are not always with us here because of your taxing responsibility and demands of office, we would want to welcome you to your own home, the province of Sekhukhune, the province of Ngubunyani, the province of Makado, the province of Nyabela, our warrior kings. As the people of South Africa in particular, and the people of Africa in general, we felt well represented, President, when during your recent visit to France, President Ramaphosa told the world leaders, and I quote, the President said to the world leaders, don't tell Africa what it needs. You have African leaders here. Listen to what we have to say. Do not impose your ideas on us. We should not be told that we have no capacity. Do not treat us like in a paternalistic manner and patronize us, close quote. Those were very encouraging words, President, to all of us. We realize that now Africa is talking. Now Africa wants to be a force to be reckoned with because of your leadership. Program Director, now this is what I refer to as the type of leadership that the country and the world has been yearning for all the time. When we say that in President Ramaphosa, the country is blessed with a quality leader, we mean every single word of it in that statement. And we are not saying it because we are pleasing him. Even when you are not saying, you are not here, President will still say it. because there is substance to what we are saying. I always say that the gods and the heavens gave us Ramaphosa as president at the time when we needed him most. We are able to navigate a number of socio-economic and other challenges facing this country, thanks to the leadership of President Ramaphosa. It is not by favor that a number of world bodies, including the United Nations and the World Health Organization, have commended South Africa's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our performance in this regard is owed to the type of leadership we have in this country. We can't even begin to imagine where we would have been if we did not have the courage and wisdom of President Ramaphosa in confronting this coronavirus pandemic. The bold and judicious decisions which were taken to mitigate the effect of COVID-19 could not have been taken by just any other leader. It is for this reason that we say, Repelele, Ramaphosa repele. There is a popular Spedi expression that says, President, Moyeng tlakareshu rijekawe. Loosely translated, it means that when we have these high-profile dignitaries visiting us, we can be assured of good things to come. I know that this is very true. Whenever the president visits us, his visits always oil our dry lips, and that is foolish. Lohono wa resha war moyeng tlakareshu. Moyeng o tlile ka reshu jwale re ja ka ena. A ke re o kwele ka nako e re sepela mo re ralala le polase tša lena gore president o ba re ke moyeng ke yona moyeng tlakareshu re je ka wena go ra gore dillo tšela ba mo dillamo be sa no ba gore ke o itša moropa bo sa timo gopa di kwetše president o di kwele dinopetše. Mr. President, we appreciate that finally our government is handing over the title deeds to farmers who have been working their land without the necessary security all the time. Remember what we always say, Minister Dilil, Minister Tidiz, that the biggest problem for our small business people in this country, one of the main problems is access to finance. And we are not saying it's because it's the absence of finance. We are saying access to finance. Due to the fact that in South Africa, we've got a system that has been adopted from the British system of banking, which you would call an asset-based banking system. If you don't have assets, if you don't have collateral, you don't get money. So they can't access that money because they don't have collateral, they don't have the assets, they don't have capital, which in the main is in the form of land. And once you get this title deed, therefore, little honor to access that finance and leverage whatever finances that we are using all the time. So we are happy for you. The ceremony is also a myth buster. This ceremony communicates against the narrative that black people can't or are not interested in the farming business. The farmers who are the recipients or the receipts of these title deeds have been farming successfully and passionately for years now. I know that this follows, President, from the time when we were still starting our government in 1994, when I was still working with NEC, Tabam for my Majesty's technical advisor. I used to have meetings with them. I actually even traveled with him to, was it the USA? to America at some stage, when we were still studying the incubation system, trying to introduce it to the system in South Africa. Ke nako ke mengwaga ba swere ke tabela ya kodumela mo ya patutsi ba re mo ya pas ba re matla se romo palega ma ke was foolish, but because the old English idiomatic expression states that pain is temporary but success is permanent. Jwale la bona success and I can guarantee you, Kaore, you have already endured the pain. This success will indeed be permanent for you. As the provincial government, we want to see more agricultural products coming from this farm, this area, and the farms. This will go a long way in fighting hunger in our community. The Minister for Small Business Development is here. And I'm sure our MEC for Agriculture is here. I am sure that they can work out something to assist you in terms of access to markets and training, access to training. You are doing it in LEADER. I think they must be in the position to can help you and beat the red tapes that all the time goes with government processes. This will also help to mitigate against the ballooning food prices. Limpopo has an abundance of land pockets which are not put to full productive use. It is for this reason that we are also supportive of the initiative by the National Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development to allocate state-owned land to aspirant farmers across the country. We hope that women and youth will be given priority in this regard. From the time immemorial, our people have always sustained their lives through subsistence farming. Mr. President, it was for this reason that on the 20th of May 2021, during the opening of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders, as a province, we made a commitment that government will allocate 1 fully equipped tractor, 4 female cows and 1 bull to all traditional leaders who will be coming into the system for the first time, meaning those who are to be crowned. President bar premier ba MEC tlamme stulo premier o tlo ya mo a swere trekker mo Roma le khomo tse tharo tsa dithole le po. That we are doing it as a gesture. We are doing it as a gesture ya go bontsha the culture and tradition ya mo, the importance of the culture and this tradition and the institution and traditional leadership. Gore khale ro gotse bare ka speed ona le expression hlapogadia a phahla o re ke sentse ke ngwana gare o tla ntšhetša go a ke re phahla ka ena go shira mokuša re rile ge re gola go be gona seema president bare mara wa nama sehlana tsogela mšate gore sehlana go tle go fela ka gore ka mšate go ne tšholo ko makhurale a nkuba felang ba fego le go ba re le go ne sa go sheba e le nako a tlala ke ba tlatša masaka a ne mokhuša ba no tšea tšhulo ela ba dira mokhuša ola ka tšholo go tšeo ka re o sheba ka nako ke sona se ba bego ba re mara wa nama sehlana tsogela mošate gore sehlana bo tle go fela ba e ra gore ditšhuana ka mo ba re mošate ke thotobolo ditšhuana ka moka tša mo motseng be di tsogela mošate ba tseba gore ge ba boa kwa mošate tlaba di susumogile dimpanyana tša bona ba khutše ka gore mošate was an institution e leng gore be e le phutha ditšhuana, so ba kgona go dira ka mokgwa ka gore mošate o bene mashimo a maholo go ne ka nako mo ba le mebotho go ne ka nako mo ba re go ntshiwa le tšeng lo lema mashimo a mošate ga le lemele kgoši le lemela tšhuana tše di tlang di phelang ka kwa mošate le lemela bahlaki ba ba phelang ka kwa mošate ke ka fao re reng ge re ba file terekere ra ba fa megoma ra ba fa dikgomo ba tlo kgona go boela segabo rena sela napile re ka fokotša the social ills tše re di bonang the society because we are a rural province as Limpopo. As I drive to my conclusion, President, our message to our farmers who are the recipients of these title deeds is that we look upon you for safeguarding of our food security in the country. And this is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your God-given abilities because let us silence our critics with our results. Let's do that. Let's do exactly that. The Limpopo provincial government is your ever-present and reliable partner on this journey, and you are indeed not alone. With these few words, I wish to congratulate our recipients and praise our President for being here today. Let us continue the partnership to build the Limpopo and the South Africa that we want. And Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, once again, you are warmly welcome to Limpopo, the land of the warrior kings, Sekhukhune. King Gungunyani, King Nyabela, King Pepura Mabulana, Sulobso Samaka. Inkomo, Rolebu, Gyabo, Masto Zemandere, Tralevo.
Releboa Matlachi, Varaspedia Serohan. At this moment, I'd like to call my colleague, Minister Antipet Dilil, who is leading the trio of ministers that are ensuring that the program of land reform indeed moves to our people, and that the commitment by the President and the sixth administration that will prioritize the redistribution of government-owned land or state-owned land for redistribution becomes a reality, and that today we are here as a symbol of that work. The Deputy President, I think 2 weeks ago, was also doing the same distribution. So, Mr. President, you are indeed delivering. It may have taken 25 years for the Tafelkop Farmers Association, but the machine is well-oiled and is moving. Antipet, over to you.
Tubela. Mr. President, Cyril Ramaphosa, all the ministers that are here, deputy ministers that are here, our members of parliament from the Portfolio Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure, the Premier of our province, this beautiful province, Premier Matabata, our mayor of the municipality, the district mayor, and of course all our traditional leaders. And a warm welcome to our Queen Mother today. I had the privilege of meeting her yesterday. We are very honored that you are here Queen Mother. Also Kgosi Matlala, Kgosi Ramaphosa, Kgosi Kgadi Matibe, Kgosi Kgadi Matsipe, and Inkosi Mahlangu. Then the Tafelkop Farmers Association, Chairperson Uncle Jerry Sefoloshe. I like him a lot, he can talk a lot, and he's really welcome us warmly here. There are also representatives from the African Farmers Association of South Africa, government officials and all the media that have joined us here today. It's my singular honor to be here today with our President and our colleagues of government and to celebrate this long-awaited occasion to hand over the title deeds to the Tafelkop farmers. When I saw this case in 2019 and the long wait, we immediately in the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure started pushing a bit more. And today it really gives me some sense of relief that we are finally here to hand over the title deeds. We started receiving some of the title deeds in February, and they said we must wait for another 6. We pushed, we said no, we want all of them. And finally in May we received all the title deeds. The history of this land distribution case is a long journey, like I've said, and I want to salute the Tafelkop Farmers Association and commend them for their patience, and the road that you have traveled was certainly not an easy one. When I heard this morning from the chairperson how the doors can close on your face at the banks, and you need to waterlize a title deed, I really felt that now that you have your title deed, things will be much, much better. So we stand here today to share your joy, because the land now belongs to you. And we feel the pride and we feel the joy, chairperson, with you and the farmers. And today, as we hand over this title deeds to the farmers of this beautiful province of Limpopo, I sense that our farmers today can really taste the fruits of our democracy. Today you are tasting the fruits of our democracy. You have worked very hard, and we all know that we come from a very sad history, where our people have been dispossessed because of colonialism, because of apartheid. Our people have been stripped of land because of the 1913 Land Act, forcibly removed with the 1915 Forced Removal Act. And so the legacy of the spatial planning and the apartheid spatial planning, that is what we as government is working to reverse. To reverse that spatial planning through land restitution, land redistribution, and land tenure, and also expropriation. Indeed, at the dawn of our democracy, the democratic government identified the need for land and agrarian reform as a key part also of our national reconciliation program. We cannot talk reconciliation if our people are still without land. So land distribution is one of the three elements of land reform. And over the years, while these processes were very slow, but government has to follow due process so that we can ensure fairness and a credible land reform program, as we've seen, like we have returned land to many families across our country. I briefly want to deal with the history of this land. These farms were occupied since 1948 by white soldiers that participated in the Second World War. When the white soldiers came back home, they were awarded with a farm. Each one got a farm. And these farms were given to white farmers at the time. While people of color, who also came back from the Second World War, only received a bicycle. Scandal. And so, in the 80s then, the white farmers then left this land, and the then municipality appointed a caretaker, a person by the name of Mr. Andre Stals. He also left the land and nothing happened on the land. And then on the 14th of April 1994, the commercial farmers of Tafelkop registered the Tafelkop Farmers Association. And they then started engaging with government to find out who is the landlord, who is the custodian of this land. And of course, they identified Public Works as the custodian of the land. So a lot happened between 2000 and 2019. I won't go into detail. But in October 2019, Mr. President, we engaged with the Office of the State Attorney to see how we can speed up the process of transferring the land. And then finally, as I said, in February and March 2021, we arrived where we are today. So the value of the 189 hectares of land currently is at 25.5 million rand. And it has been decades and a long journey for our farmers, but they have successfully farmed, and we've seen the beautiful acres of land. It's maize, onions, cabbages, soya beans, tobacco, cotton. And I want to congratulate all the successful farmers, because they started very small with something like 5 tons of produce per year, and they're right up to 60 tons now per year. The farmers then sell their produce to the British American Tobacco Company, the cotton to the Loskop Cotton Ginnery. Fresh produce goes to Boxer stores, Grobbelard's Dal Spa, and other shopping stores in the region, as well as going to markets in Johannesburg and in Pretoria. But also, the farmers also contribute a substantial amount of their fresh produce to the school feeding schemes, which is really helping a lot. So through receiving the title deeds for this land, the farmers intend now to form partnerships with investors to expand their market access and expand their output and offering also. And this will enable all the farmers to make a greater economic contribution to the region, while expanding their operations. They will also be able to create more jobs. Access to land equals freedom and dignity, and will empower the farmers as they finally have ownership status of the land, which will enable them to expand and improve their farming activities. I want to thank Deputy President David Mabuza and the members of the Interministerial Committee for his leadership, and also Minister Toka Dadisa. Thank you for your drive and the support that you have been given to the Tafelkop farmers. As the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, we stand ready to support the work of your department, but we must see a greater need to drive urgency into the process so that we can achieve land reform, spatial justice, and redress for our people. Some little bit of good news, Mr. President. Already in March 2021, we signed off another 125 agricultural properties, measuring about 25,500 hectares. And as DPWI, we will be pushing harder and working harder to finalize the release of more land. I will now introduce our president, ladies and gentlemen. Not that he needs any introduction in this province, because in this province is where he became part of the struggle for freedom and the struggle against apartheid. President Ramaphosa enrolled to study law at University of the North here in Limpopo in 1972, where he became involved in student politics, joining the South African Student Organization and also the Black People's Convention. President Ramaphosa has walked a full journey with the people of South Africa. And today, as he leads us, we continue the work of making the freedoms of our democracy a living reality for the people of this great country. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to call on President Ramaphosa to deliver the keynote address. Kia leboha.
Ardulem faat. Dumelang. Dimasiari. Lochani. Intlekani. Goeiemiddag. Good afternoon. Program Director, Minister Kumbuzo, Silence Nchabeni, who is never silent, much as her name is Silence. Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mayor Capo Auntie Patricia Delil, ba mo file sereto ba re ke ena Mahlako, ra mo lebogela gore motho o tswang kwa Western Cape o fitlhile mo a ba fiwa sereto. Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, Metro Didiza, ho na le bo minister ba bang ba sepelang le bona ba babedi, ba tsamaisang moshumo e le Minister Delil le Didiza, le Minister ka bane no shuma ka le ID le passport. Ha o sena ID mamotha o ka lo ekwetsa mo Minister Motswedi. Ke agente e kgolo ya mmuso wa rena. Ha le bona re hloleha ho etsa dintho tse ding ga sa molao ke ena a re thibelang. Tse ding wa dumela hore re die. Re ne di Deputy Minister Phahla o hona mo le yena. The Deputy Minister Kiviti, Ohona Ushuma, the Minister Delil, the Deputy Minister Siweya, Ushuma, the Minister Nchabeni, Jeka Minister Nchabeni, Ali acting minister in the presidency. Any of the ministers or deputy can't tell the members of parliament, Rabalebo Habona, Hararena, Hakolo Baba Portfolio Committee, Bato level or Ana Mushumo Wasichabarudia Witsina, Rabalebo Amohadalebo. Le premier ya rona ke mo leboge re Chuku Mathabata go re eta pele mo moshomong o le mo moshomong ya mentsi ya province ya rena. O sepela le di-MEC tsa gage ke bone re Masemola a ke tsebe gore re Bioscope o gona na a ke a mmona ba bang ba di-MEC ha ke sa le bona le ska ntwantša. And then I want to extend my greetings to the Mayor of Sekhukhune District Municipality, Stanley Ramaila, le Mayor wa Elias Motsoaledi, Mme Julia Mathebe, ke a kgolwa le di-councilora tse ding tsa masepala tsa rena mo ba gona. Ke dumedishe our Queen Mother and Regent Tlhapogadi ya Phahla. Ke dumedise magoši a rena, Kgoši Matlala, Inkosi Mahlangu, Kgošigadi Mathebe, Kgošigadi Matsepe, le Kgoši Ramampudu. Ke dumedise le chairperson ya Tafelkop Farmers Association International. Se ba tsentse international. Ore o fitla ha rena mo Tafelkop Farmers Association is a fofa bjale e ba international. Ra ile bogela. Re Jerry Sefuloshe. Ke dumedise le batho bohle ba gona mo, members of the community. Re Jerry o ile a re ha ke fihla mo o re go ne batho ba reng ha ba mmona ba re go tshwana le nna, mare ha le ka le mmone ha e le le nna le a mpona, mara ha le re bona le babedi le iponela gore ke o mang o montle go phala o mongwe. So ska e tshwantsha le nna Re Jerry. ke batla leboga re Masimola o mong wa balemi ba 31 ba 30 o ile a re ha mpona a re mkhwenyana a re se amogela mkhwenyana be ke mmotsa gore o tlo mpha mosadi na ha o re ke mkhwenyana wa hao a re o teng mare tshwanetse gore ke founele mma bana ke mmotse gore na taba e o e kwele na re a leboga kudu-kudu go ba mo, and also to be in this beautiful province. As the Premier of our province said, indeed, Limpopo is a beautiful province, but this part of Limpopo is also most beautiful because it is a very productive part of Limpopo. This, Batbayesu, is indeed a great day for the community of Tafelkop, for the people of Limpopo, and indeed for our people in South Africa. Because today we are witnessing a community's dream coming true and being fulfilled. It is a dream that they've had for a long time to own their land, to farm their own land, and to make it commercially successful. Mamuta Arens had the title deed. We will be saying, yes, indeed, Ray Jerry and all your other fellow farmers, your land is back today. We know that you've had a vision for many, many years, but we've also had a vision as government to harness land development and to make sure that the land leads to the upliftment of our people and also leads to their economic prosperity. It has been a vision for this community, and they've spent 25 years fighting to see that this dream that they've had is realized. Would like to thank them for their patience, would like to thank them for their courage, because over these years they have not sat back, they have stood on their own feet and fought for this land, and the land that you have fought for in the various ways you did fight for is now back, and we are happy. Your land is indeed back. And in many ways, the promise of the Freedom Charter has come true for this community, that the land shall be shared amongst those who work it. The handover of the title deeds that we are going to effect today to the members of the Tafelkop Farmers Association marks a milestone in a long journey. It began, as we heard from Minister Delil, in the year 2000, when the Department of Agriculture first entered into lease agreements with farmers under the land redistribution through the Agricultural Development Program. Back then, farming output in this community was still small. It was a paltry 5 tons or 6 tons a year. Now, as you've heard, this tonnage has now increased to about 60 tons, and it's just going to go up and up and up from these very 30 farmers who we are giving title deeds to today. And we applaud them and we celebrate them and we thank them for their patience. Now, today their land that they are going to get in the form of title deeds is worth more than 25 million rand. Now, this is economic value that they are being handed, that they are being given by their own government. And I want to thank Jerry because he said, once freedom was achieved, they knew that their land was going to come back. Now the history of this place is a very sad history because the people of this area occupied this land and they were moved, forcibly moved. And the land was given to white farmers who had been soldiers in the war, and they were given bicycles and overcoats. Bafilwe di bicycle le di jazz. Ha ba bang ba ne ba fiwa lefatshe. And the unfairness and the iniquity that was committed here is what we are putting right today. It has taken time, but finally we are putting right what was done wrong a number of years ago. Now, the pleasing thing is that the 30 farmers who are now going to get their title deeds today have been farming. They have been using their own money, they've been using all their own means, and they even built their own pack house. They've been farming with tobacco, with cotton, with vegetables that we see here right in front of us, real wonderful vegetables that are in demand, the cabbage, the beetroot, the namune, and the squash, the branjeli, tse se jewang ke batho ba dulang ko ditoropong tse kgolo, le di butternut, and so on. But the most pleasing thing for me today was to be able to meet the farmers themselves. And amongst the farmers to see there are women farmers. And I kept asking each one, each one said, yes, I do farm, and I farm with my own hands, and I have employed people to work for me on my piece of land. And Ntwengwe Tabisang, which is most pleasing, is that much as their farm area is small, 189 hectares, they are producing real wonderful produce that goes to our markets, that even goes for export. Babang, they are very proud for some of their produce goes as far afield as Mozambique, as far afield as France, as far afield as a number of countries. And these are not emerging farmers. They are real, serious farmers. And Babang Babona, there are 3 of them who become Farmers of the Year at one stage or another. And Omong Wabona Kim Me Oileng Aba, a Farmer of the Year, and even went to the United States to go and see how they farm there. Aba Hori, how do we farm in South Africa? Aba Leseo se abarutileng sona kwa America. Mewarona Ohonamu. So we have a lot to be proud about, that we have a group of farmers here in this area who have taken to farming very seriously, and I want to thank them for their resilience, for their determination, because they are an inspiration to all of us. They are an inspiration to farmers all over the country. They are inspiration to young farmers. They are also an inspiration to those who want to start working the land. Because they wake up every morning, they work their land, and they produce food for our country. They make a profit, and they look after their children and their households. There's a total of 32 households who are supported by this land, and the farming activities also provide employment for some 128 permanent workers, but they also employ seasonal workers and up to 320 of them. So this is serious farming operations. This land is the community's most valuable asset, and now it is officially yours. You will now be able to use it, to use this land where value has been trapped, where you were not able to utilize the value of the land that you've been working on. You will now be able to go to secure loans. You'll now be able to go and get water rights so that you can water your produce, so that your production can go higher and higher. You'll also now be able to enter into long-term contracts. Le tla kgona gore le ilo bua le bao ba a kgonang ho reka the vegetables tsa lena and everything you produce on a long-term contract basis, so that you no longer depend on short-term contracts, but you will now have long-term contracts. And we are very grateful for you've also been able to demonstrate that you are serious farmers. You were telling me that you keep records, daily records of your own produce, the fertilizer you use, the chemicals that you use, and the land space that you use for your produce. That to me demonstrates indeed here we are dealing with real serious farmers. Now, the prospects of the agricultural sector provides an opportunity for great things that we can do together with our people. As we return the land, we now know that there are many of our people who want to work the land. And the Tafelkop Farmers Association has demonstrated that for us. And we therefore want to encourage as many of our people as possible to get into agriculture, because agriculture is one of those sectors that we have set up to grow the economy of our country. But we want to grow it as we deal with the issues of land dispossession, as we deal with the theft of the land that took place, as we resolve the problem of forced removals that the people of our country were subjected to. We have not forgotten the harsh legacy of farming here in Limpopo, where farm dwellers were forced to be labor tenants on their forefathers' land. And it also happened here, where after our people were moved so that the white soldiers who returned from the Second World War could be given land, they were then forced to become labor tenants on their forefathers' land. And they were not allowed to own the land to feed their families or graze their own animals. We have not forgotten the terrible exploitation and abuse of black farm workers in this province that took place many years ago. We have also not forgotten the apartheid farm labor scheme, which forced those who were guilty of petty offenses to work on white-owned farms so as to avoid a jail sentence. We also recall how the apartheid government supported white farmers with equipment, technical support, and access to credit to build their businesses. All these other big commercial farms that we see around us here were built because the apartheid government supported all these farmers. It is now time for us to support our own farmers And today we are celebrating those. Today is a celebration, but it is also a commitment that we make. We're making a commitment as government as we want to upscale the agricultural sector that Harale Fadi title did stena. We are not going to walk away. We are going to walk this journey with you, and we're going to give you the support you need, because we've seen with our own eyes that you are serious farmers and you want to become big commercial farmers, and we will give you the necessary agricultural support. Dade Jerry even said that Ahuna, the extension services Mona. Minister Didiza has had all that. She's going to be bringing in 10,000 extension farmers and Bataba Balimu. And Asiba Bata ring by the exam. Asiba Bata Tabang Halibathoka. They will be here all the time helping you to make your farming operations work. Now, we did say that we are serious about land reform. We did say that we are going to redistribute land. The governing party took a very clear decision on the issue of land reform and redistribution. And we are in the process of implementing precisely the decisions that have been taken by the governing party. To date, government has redistributed over 5 million hectares of land, totaling around 5,500 farms, to more than 300,000 beneficiaries. So far, land redistribution process has benefited over 2 million land claimants and resulted in the transfer of around 2.7 million hectares. Land reform isn't just in the interest of redress, isn't just about healing the pain of the past, isn't just about making sure that what happened in the past is corrected. It is not just about justice, it is also about economic development. Agriculture and the agricultural value chain can and must transform our economy, particularly here in the rural areas. Through the Economic Reconstruction and Recovery Plan, we are developing the agricultural sector and making it more inclusive so that it can play an even greater role in driving inclusive growth. Here in Hasikukuni, agricultural development forms part of the district development plan. The transfer of this state land is part of our nationwide process to speed up land reform. Our constitution obliges us as a state to take reasonable legislative and other measures within our own available resources to facilitate equitable access to land. The release of state-owned land is one of the recommendations of the Presidential Advisory Panel on Land Reform. Last year we announced that 529 hectares of state land would be released. The land reform process has been beset by many challenges. One of those, the management of farm leases, is another issue, which Ndade Jerry also spoke about. But this was highlighted by Minister Togoti Diza in her budget speech recently in Parliament. In recent months, we have had to respond to complaints from several black farmers, and they have been talking about the weaknesses of the implementation of our policies, particularly when it comes to leasing of the land that they've been given by government. And we are looking very closely at the efficacy of this policy. And as we do so, we are listening very carefully to what our existing farmers are saying. The Tafelkop Farmers Association have told us that the most workable model is where our black farmers are given land and they have their own title deeds, so that they are then able to go and raise capital to improve their working of their farms. And so we are listening to this. This often is a problem when you lease land. We are forging ahead with the process of amending Section 25 of the Constitution to enable land expropriation without compensation, all the while ensuring that we improve agricultural output and expand the property rights of all South Africans. There is currently public participation processes that are ongoing around the expropriation bill, which outlines the circumstances under which land may be expropriated, both with and without compensation. Now, over the next financial year, we will establish a land and agrarian reform agency that is going to help us to fast-track land reform. Now, all this demonstrates the focus that we are now having on land reform. We're looking at how effective our past policies have been, our current policies, but we're also looking at practical situations born out of the experience of black farmers like those in Tafelkop here. And so we are gaining a lot of information, and we are going to urgently address this issue of land reform. Yes, we will also be looking very urgently at issues of service delivery, the challenges that we have in our communities. We heard water is not being well delivered. Water supply problems have endured in various parts of Hasikukul, affecting health and livelihoods, but also farming. Now, there are many reasons why we are in this situation. Some of them have been, yes, the water resource is a major challenge in our country, but another one is maladministration, and another one is corruption in the delivery of services. And this we have to root out. So as we work to solve all these problems, we are forging ahead with the land reform process. We are forging ahead to correct what we have not done well. But the Tafelkop Farmers Association is a model association that has demonstrated to us that, one, they have confidence in our ability as government to deliver. Two, they have demonstrated their own patience. And three, they have also not sat on their own laurels. They have stood up on their own feet, and they have worked the land, even with all the restrictions and constraints that they have had. So we applaud them. And I especially want to applaud them because they have struggled. They have been involved in the struggle to make sure that this land does return to them. And so they've joined the great leaders who have fought for the freedom of our country, who have fought for our land. Leaders such as Mokhosi Tulare, Sikwati, and Sikukuni, who fought many heroic wars against land dispossession. And during the liberation struggle, we also had a number of activists that came from here. So, Dade Jerry, halentse le lwanela lefatshe le, gore le khutle matsogong a lena, you are carrying on with the tradition, the rich tradition that resides here, Hasikuku, where we've had Mahoshi Arena who fought, but where we have had activists who fought, ba tshwanang baetapele ba rona ba tshwana le bo Tate Elias Motsoaledi, Nelson Diale, Oraya Maleka, Flag Bushielo, Lentate Pukanuka, and many others. And some of them are sitting here today who joined the struggle and suffered immensely. So Merego Warena, Wahore, Rilukise Lefatshe le la rena, o tswella pele. We are working to put right what went wrong, yes, in the apartheid years, but what also went wrong during our own tenure, but we're working very hard to ensure that we restore this land and everything that has to go with it, from the land to service delivery to good governance and everything that our people need. We are working to restore all that. And we do this in tribute to those who led us, who resided here amongst us. Land reform is key to growing the agricultural sector here in Hasikukuni and also in Limpopo. It is an important step towards bolstering our nation's food security, and it is also about building an inclusive economy. I know for a Premier Arena, the MEC Zahache, they are focusing, including our municipalities, they are focusing on growing the economy, not only of this province, but of this area as well, and of our municipal areas as well. Because it is about providing a better future for the people of this area and our country. So I call on every one of us, for Arishume more, let us all work together. We now can move forward. We've got an economic recovery plan that we are implementing, and what we are doing today in handing over this land is part of that whole plan. It's part of seeking to make a meaningful contribution to the growth of our economy. Minister Togo Tidiza will be back. Nerelebeleti Pack House. And we have already seen what should be done in the Pack House. For you want more land. And we have agreed for a land audit. What is happening with the land that used to belong to our forebears? And what should we do going forward? You need extension officers. You need the support, but we also will be coming up with programs that support, and the support must not only be one term. It must be a support not for 1 year, but for 2 years and for 3 years. For a labor for the support effective so that you can stand on your own 2 feet. Your production has gone way beyond 60 tons. I want to hear that your production has gone to 240 tons, because it is possible for you to be able to do that. Muomo is very fertile soil. and you are now farming with crops that you can cycle maybe twice or 3 times a year. Go nei metsi mo Oliphant River isepela mo. Metsi a ska ba metsi a tla bang a nosetsa dipolasi tsa ba ba sweu fela. A tshwanetse gore a nosetse le dipolasi tsa lena. You as black farmers must also get that land. So I now want to see Tafelkop the real, meaningful and live experiment, living experiment, Yarina, but maybe more than an experiment, a living model, a real living model of how black farmers, women farmers and men farmers can work the land and produce greater products. Sentabisang haholo lo feta. Kile ka botsa Ntate Jerry ka re a le lwane na. A re no re feditse o lwana, a re sa lwana bjale. Re a kwana. So I was very pleased to hear that there is working together. Each one of you works your land, but you cooperate in the infrastructure that supports all of you, with the tractors, with the pack house, with the marketing and all that. We want to see a great success of this area. Kitlabatla Premier, I will want to come back here. I will want to come back We are going to focus on this area to make sure that you succeed as well as you should. Today, for me, has been the best day in the office. The best day in the office for to kick the soil, to kick the dust, and to see your produce. The only regret next time, ke tlatisa le kgomo ha ke bona gore le successful ka mmereko wa lona. Ke a leboga.
Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to sit down because the president said I don't stop talking, but he forgot to also mention that I like giving instructions. So I'm keeping the president on stage for a while. And I'd like to invite the Premier and Minister Dilil so that we can then start with the handover of the certificates. And Tata Jerry, go and sit down first and I'll come back to you. Because of social distancing, we are not going to call the whole group of farmers at one go. We are going to call them in groups, and also the ministers will assist, they will call them in batches. So the first who are going to do the handover is the President, Minister Dilil, and the Premier. He ke le bitsa re tla kgopela le tle ka mo pele re tla thoma ka ba 10 wa mathomo he le feditse re tla tsia senape le lena le baetapele then la dula fase ra kgona bitsa group e nngwe le ba batla re thusa gape. If the table is ready, can I proceed? Are we ready? Ba mathomo ke tla Ntate Ubani, Franz Mamaila, le Pateng Ana Mamaila hore ba tle mo pele. Me Ana Mamaila ba hona o ntate ba tla tshwara certificate. Then ka kgopela Melia Mahumokoshi Buroko ba tle mo pele. Rebo Albert and Mapala Tabitha Malapane ni bona ba ka haufi. Le kana mo ba fetse le bona ditlatla. Kebo Albert Mapala Tabitha Malapane. Here sali busy le bona re tla kgopela bo Makgonu Philemon Mokganyetsi ba tle mo pele. And re tla ba re emisha Lekedi Grace Dinkwanyane le bona ba tle mo pele. Rakopela bo Zulu Timothy Sibanze le bona ba latele. Re tla opela bo Rodney Ditlabukeng nka dima le bona ba ML. Eba sali busy le bo Rodney nka dima re tla ba Malope and go Buleu Heri Rampudu le bona ba mele. Mantume Lintikile Khafane le Mapule Matina Mohlala ba emelle. O tshwanetse be le sa le Mapule Matina Mohlala. And then the kopela wa Sefolusha, Mantuse Sefolusha, Penyani Jere Sefolusha, Pulane Ana Sefolusha, Mamutle Elsi Sefolusha, le na le tepe. Mr. President, I want to release the Premier and Minister Dilip, and then I'll still have to keep you here because all the farmers will want to have a photo with you individually. And I'd like to invite my colleagues, Minister Lamola Ronam and Minister Dijiza Toko, to come and assist the President to hand over the certificate. And yeah. Then I'm going to call Mabukoshi Gotrich and Sefularo Ivan Mashiani. Mabukoshi Godrich Mashiane, le Sefularo Iva Mashiane. Re tla gopela Mabugwera Juliet Mahadisa. Re tla gopela Mamoeke Albert le Mathamane Julia Manala.
Good day in the office. Please, hang on, this is what I like.
Arevicha Makwana Michael Mukoni and Mifo Sophia Buta. Reta Kupela Masukulu Isaac Nguni Le Mansitle Liakwale. Retavicha Muditsana Thomas Lintombana Leti Musutu. Reta Kupela Mapotata Semwa Rakalakani. Retavicha Kotiwe Leti Mabona.
Arfes.
Rekakupela Fios Utana Limbikazi Johanna Madonsela.
Assassini não faz. Assassino não, assassino está. Vamos jogar a
Re tla ba re bitsa John Pinika Motlopa. I'll now release Minister Lamula and Minister Didiza and invite Minister Motsoaledi, Deputy Minister Kivit, Deputy Minister Patha, and Deputy Minister Sweya to come and assist the President. Let's be quick. Yes. In the meantime, Rakopela, Kojana, Rosie Mabona, or at the Mopin. Kimabona. Kojana, Rosie Mabona. And then Utavari Emisha Masilinga Lucas and Memana Zofaran Tuli. Retakupela li Sosara France Masemula aba emella.
Can you see in the past they never liked meetings. They have this board.
Aratawara Kopela, Mushu Manyana Lucas, and Musina Kabo Matamukweda. Retavara Kopela, Johannes Mahaukela, and Eva Makanti Mbuyane, Baba ML. Mutana David Pilane and Liwa Elizabeth Pilane or Luana Baba Tamela House. Retlavari Emisha Munifi France Malau, Lena Abe Abata Melamokov. Retlavari Hopela Mapale Jeremiah Le Mafufani Emily Diako or Baba Emel.
Very good.
Rakopele Lisine Erasmus Fulashe or Abata Melahaufi. Oh, Sine Erasmus Fulushe, Abata Melemahaufi.
Thank you.
I'll also now release my colleagues and invite Minister Patricia Delil to come back and still maintain the president. Minister Mtsalet, you must get off the stage. No, Minister Mtsalet, get off the stage. No, get off the stage, Minister.
Calling me back.
I think, Mr. President, Minister Mtsalet is reliving his days as the MEC for Agriculture in Limpopo. And now we're going to invite, for the Tafelkop Farmers Association, we'll invite Ntate Jerry Fulusho or receive a certificate on behalf of the Tafelkop Farmers Association. Re-Edo International Ntate Jerry. I'll release Minister Delil. I'm keeping the president a bit hostage for longer. I'll now invite the Mayor, Councillor Julia Matebe, or Atla Pete, the Nanya Godipet. Oh, right.
Yeah, thanks once more, Program Director. Magareshu bare moenga tlile ka gae. Le ge le gore we know gore President a tlile mo Elias Motsoaledi o tlile gae because ke ngwana wa mo, is the son of the soil. But go bohlokwa President gore ga le fihla ka gae le kgone go bontšha mokhumagadi gore ke be go sheile mo mara ke be ke ile ka gae. So on behalf of the people of Elias Motsoaledi, re thabetse go ba le lena President, and we assure you our support as people of Elias Motsoaledi. Re le tla re ga le fihla ka gae la khutša le mokgekolo mo legogong ke moka la ga metsi la nwa. Re ka montle go na le dipudi tše pedi le tšona e tla re President a fihla ka gae a diša a gama bana ba gola. Thank you, Program Director.
You can go now. Thank you.
Executive Mayor, do not go. Okay. When I finally release the President to take his seat, I'm reminded to make an announcement that garden tools for each household that has received the certificate are at the pack house, and the President has seen the garden tools. At this moment, I'd like to take an opportunity. Executive Mayor